So welcome everybody to today's webinar with the title Documentum and OpenText Success Strategies for the Future. During the webinar we will share a lot of interesting information for you, a lot of details about the acquisition of Documentum through OpenText, and in addition we have additional information for you with services and solutions by FME, which will help you to be more successful for the future with your ECM system. My name is Christian Meyer and I'm a senior consultant at FME and I'm the leader of the Competency Center Documentum and OpenText at FME. With us today is Markus Oponczewski. Markus is director of the business unit in Munich and responsible for the cloud business at FME. In addition, we have two representatives from OpenText, Stephen and Sean. Stephen and Sean will tell you a lot of information about the acquisition, about the future, about the current situation. I think this is very interesting for you because there are a lot of blogs, rumors in the web, and Stephen and Sean will tell you the truth about everything, or nearly everything. So, some housekeeping before we start. During the webinar, all attendees are in listen-only mode. During the webinar, you can enter your questions you have in the question panel, and at the end of this webinar, we will answer these questions. The recording or the session today will be recorded, so within a few days after this webinar, you will receive an email with a link to the recording of this webinar, and then you can share it internally or watch this again. So today's agenda, first of all, I already mentioned it, OpenText will share information about acquisition, about the future, and all these things, and then Markus and I will present solutions and products by FME which help you to be more successful. So first of all, with the CSF to build tailor-made web applications for your ECM system, with the Migration Center where we explain use cases where the Migration Center helps you to save time and money, and Markus will tell you about our services and offerings for cloud, for Documentum and OpenText technology. And at the end we have the Q&A session. So some facts about the FME, who we are, for those of you who do not know us. The objective of FME is to support clients in the digital transformation, mainly in the life science and industrial manufacturing areas, but we have also customers in different business areas. How do we achieve this? Mainly through ECM technology. There we partner with OpenText, Documentum, but with also other technologies like business intelligence, cloud, big data, social collaboration, and custom software development. FME was founded in 1995 in Germany, in Braunschweig, with offices in Munich and Frankfurt in Germany, and with also offices in Romania and the United States. Currently we have 175 employees and the revenue of 20 million euro. And FME wants to be the company you love to work with. So now I want to hand over to Stephen, who will share with you information on OpenText perspective and the acquisition.
Great, thanks very much. I appreciate you letting me join. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm just going to start sharing my screen here momentarily. There we go. And if you guys could confirm you can actually hear me, that would make sure that we're all talking right now.
We can hear you, Stephen. Thanks.
Oh, fantastic. We weren't sure if we were actually going to pull this off. It was right down to the last minute. So thank you again for having me join you guys. the first thing that I really wanted to say was, or address, I guess, has been absolutely what has been the elephant in the room when it's come to every single conversation we've had over the last few months leading up to the closing of the deal about a week and a half ago right now. And it was, what is the future of Documentum and OpenText? And the easiest way of putting it, and I think we've been pretty upfront about making sure that we're saying this, is that Documentum is absolutely here to stay. We're here to protect our Documentum customers' investments in Documentum, as well as InfoArchive and LEAP. And it's not just a promise of maintaining it, but making sure that we're doing the right innovation and providing ongoing support for Documentum, and probably just as importantly, the OpenText content suite as well, in terms of letting our existing customers in Content Suite know that their investment is safe as well. And so what that means is, from a roadmap perspective and from the commitments we've made, they're going to stay stable, and we're working towards delivery of those commitments as we speak. And so I wanted to make sure that that was out in front, and I want to also put just a little bit of color behind that as well in terms of what that commitment looks like. The first part of that commitment is commitment to the core set of applications that we acquired from Documentum. So that's Documentum, D2, XCP, InfoArchive, and we'll get into a little bit more detail around some of those later on as well. But ongoing investment in lowering total cost of ownership, ongoing investment in being able to add in some of the analytics capabilities that we bring to the table from an OpenText perspective. Obviously, usability and ongoing features where they make sense. And in a way, a lot of those features and the capabilities will be driven by our ongoing desire to go to market with some highly differentiated solutions that are available to us now from the Documentum acquisition, particularly around life sciences and energy and engineering. Documentum has, over the past number of years, obviously made a huge investment both in understanding industry problems and investing around providing solutions around these areas as well. So we want to continue to go to market and are very happy to bring some of these industry solutions into the fold, and we'll obviously go to market and continue to sell these applications too. And then lastly, I think, as we're all aware, we are headed towards a much more cloudy future when it comes to both the vision of where we are today with Documentum and Content Suite and a lot of these solutions, in providing them as a service in the cloud, by offering them in combination with managed services in the OpenText cloud. And so want to invest in making these solutions both applicable for the cloud, which is always a benefit for customers, and that it continues to drive down total cost of ownership, and also making them available as packaged solutions within the cloud as well. And so as a strategy in general, we are looking to, as I pointed out, Documentum is here to stay, and we're looking at that both from a perspective of general enhancements and support, pushing down on particular industries where we're going to be particularly successful, and making sure that we can offer them on premises in a hybrid solution or in the cloud entirely. I think, however, as we've had some discussions with our customers, and both on the content server and on the Documentum server side, has been this idea, however, that we really want to make sure too that we're not just telling you what's happening today, but painting a little bit of a view of the future as well. And our view of the future is really that if we're going to build this out from a picture of both where is Documentum and where is the existing ECM solutions inside of OpenText in terms of Content Suite, what are we going to do around the future of ECM? And I think there's a growing realization within the industry and within our customers is that in a lot of ways ECM has been a solution or a technology that's been available for the last 15 years, but maybe we're finally getting to the point where we're getting much better at the delivery of that solution within the confines of what I would consider to be solutions themselves, right? Making sure that ECM, to a certain degree, isn't necessarily the forefront application, but an application that is providing many of the things that we need in terms of single source of content, single source of the truth, a backbone of information between different business processes, obviously the simple things like version control, compression, security, encryption, records management, et cetera. We all know that the things that we want content management to do, but in terms of the way that that is being delivered now, we know that it needs to be delivered in a lot of cases in the form of built-for-purpose applications. It needs to be delivered in integrations into existing technologies to reduce the volume of silos of unstructured information in our organizations. It needs to be delivered more frequently, obviously, in the cloud now. And it's really in that we're really seeing the look at ECM or taking ECM and breaking it down into a lot of its components so that it can be embedded in applications. It can go out and be embedded through integration. So content services is certainly something that we see as a future capability as a technology, but it's that technology and its capacity to be able to build out solutions for the way that people actually want to work with their content that makes this strategy very important for most organizations moving forward. But that said, we also realize in terms of building out the future of ECM, we certainly can't, certainly can't look too far beyond it and think that we're simply going to, leave behind the investments that we have made and not leverage the investments we've made both in our Documentum platforms and OpenText content server and extended ECM platforms, because in most organizations there's going to be a very long tail of deployments within those organizations due to the heavy lifting that ECM typically does, due to the fact that it is very often very built into the business process, right into the fabric of business process in most cases as well. And so, our expectation is while we have to build the future of ECM, we have to make sure that we can obviously use our existing investment and leverage that investment moving forward. And that's really what we want to show as sort of our future view of what the integration strategy is going to look like on a day-forward basis as well, which is, first of all, our ongoing commitment to what we have already said, which is we're going to continue to invest in both Documentum and Content Server. We're going to take on and make sure that we continue the good work that has already happened around LEAP as our mechanism of being able to provide content services and built-for-purpose applications. And so as we took on LEAP, it came with the integration layers of being able to work with Documentum. It's got a content services, case services, capture services that through APIs and solution components can be wrapped into things like Courier, Snap, Concert, etc. And we think of this as a way forward for us as well to begin to have discussions around both the ability to integrate in with our and leverage our existing platforms, but also a way of saying we're not going to take Documentum and Content Server and glom them together into one single system where there's a winner and a loser when it comes to Documentum or Content Server. That's not our intention. It's not our intention that we'll ask our customers to migrate to Content Server or migrate to Documentum. But what we see is as we slowly move more and more use cases and slowly more workloads into the cloud, we expect to see a convergence as in the next generation platform for content services, a convergence in that area. So the best of breed capabilities will happen in that cloud. And not only will we invest in it from the perspective of making sure that we can converge in the next generation platform, but we want to make sure that we're leveraging other things that we're doing right now as well. So in terms of investment in LEAP, one of the first investments we're looking at is taking the best capabilities of the OpenText, the existing OpenText ECM application in the cloud core, and we're taking a lot of the underlying content services capabilities and building that into the platform that is LEAP, but also allowing core in terms of the application that it provides around file sync and share, and the ability for organizations to have a very lightweight document management platform to work with as well. We're going to build that into as one of the applications in LEAP too. And finally, I think it's really important for us to say that we, from an OpenText perspective, have had a lot of success in the last few years heading down the path towards content services in the first place. And that path to success for OpenText has been the ability to take ECM and embed it directly into lead applications like SAP, Salesforce, SharePoint, Office 365, etc. And so our ability to embed into those applications has really been based on being able to take the UI and put it directly in the lead application, and to be able to work with the roles, the metadata, et cetera, and sync those back and forth between the lead application and ECM. And we're going to take that special sauce that we've developed over the last number of years that has been very successful in helping our organizations and our customers deploy and find high adoption rates and be very successful in deploying ECM, and take that special sauce and build it into LEAP as well, so that we can extend content services into more lead applications like SuccessFactors, like SAP S/4HANA, Office 365, et cetera, in a cloud-to-cloud basis, leveraging LEAP as that integration layer, leveraging the underlying content services and case services, et cetera, and obviously in the back end, leveraging Documentum and Content Server as necessary for some of the potential heavy lifting or repository requirements underneath it. And so from our perspective, the future for ECM from our perspective is still based on this idea that content services will grow in importance. We want to be able to deliver that. We want to be able to deliver it in the OpenText cloud. We want to be able to deliver it as individual built-for-purpose applications, or we want to deliver it as integration into lead applications. All that through content services and LEAP, making sure, as I pointed out, that we are continuing to invest in the underlying platforms to support these activities from a go-forward perspective. And as I pointed out, if you're wondering about our commitment to both Documentum and Content Server, as you'll see that they're an important component of our industry solutions, and they're going to be an important component of our strategy of providing ECM in the future as a way of being able to provide platform capabilities underneath content services developed and put together inside LEAP with applications and integrations behind it. And so, in a very, very sort of hopefully short 5 or 10 minutes, I've wrapped up what we kind of see as our integration strategy, and happy to hand it back to you guys for some further discussion and questions as needed. There we go, handing it back over. Christian, I think you were going to pick it up from here.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen. I think the participants really enjoyed the information you shared with us. So thank you very much for this. So let's come to the next part of this webinar. The topic of this webinar is success strategies for the future. And if you want to build a custom solution, a custom client solution on top of your ECM system, then CSF helps you to be more successful in building this application than without. So CSF stands for Custom Solution Framework, and this is the framework built by FME to help customers to build custom solutions on top of an ECM solution. So usually when you want to introduce a new ECM application, then there are high client expectations from different groups in a company, so from the IT department, from the business itself, as well as from the users. So for example, the new solution should be very fast. So performance is a key topic for a new solution, or it should be very flexible. So the business wants to achieve the best results with the solution, so it must be very flexible to implement all the requirements, as well as other expectations and key things like high usability and the modern UI. So these are also expectations we have heard from our customers. For the IT department, for example, it is also important that that the vendor supports a new solution, and multi-device support become more and more important, of course. And the CSF, the Custom Solution Framework, addresses these expectations, and solution built on top of the CSF address these expectations and meet them on a very, very high level. So what is the definition of the CSF? What's behind the CSF? The scope of CSF is, of course, custom ECM applications with special requirements which cannot be resolved through the out-of-the-box clients. So when you have very special requirements and you think that a custom solution is better than an out-of-the-box client for these special requirements, then CSF will help you. CSF is not an out-of-the-box client, so each solution is individual but based on the framework. That means development is of course necessary. The focus is on performance, usability, and flexibility. So performance, I already mentioned, it is very important, and also the usability of a solution and the flexibility to implement all the requirements of the business. So why does the CSF help you? So we have combined different technologies. We use open source technologies for the CSF. So for example, AngularJS as our UI framework, or Spring for the REST service. And we have built a lot of concepts and a lot of knowledge around the development concept. For example, the automatic test process, build processes, everything is predefined and can be used more or less out of the box. And in addition, of course, we have predefined components which can be reused in projects, and this means that the development effort is not so high and decreases. And last but not least, security and authentication. So security become more and more important in the companies, and CSF implements a lot of security features, and we've built the solution or the CSF with a lot of security enhancement and features. So security is a very important topic for the CSF, and it really addresses the security topic. At the moment, we support the latest browsers like Internet Explorer 11, Firefox, and Chrome. It runs on a Tomcat application server, and we support currently Documentum 7, but other platforms are in discussion. So when you want to build a custom solution, then CSF can help you to build a custom solution on top of your ECM system, more secure, faster, and with less cost than before. Because when you have ever tried to build a custom solution, a custom enterprise-ready solution by your own, then you know what that means, how much effort you have to spend for all these things, for the development concept like the build process, automated test, the components, the technology decision, and all these things. And CSF delivers this near out of the box. Oops. The second solution offered by FME is the Migration Center. The Migration Center is our migration tool, an out-of-the-box tool to migrate content from a source system to a target system. And with the Migration Center, you can address a lot of use cases. I will explain these use cases on the next slide. And Migration Center helps you to be more successful when you have one of these use cases, because it's out of the box, and this means it can save you a lot of money and time, because yeah, it's ready right now. So here you can see different use cases in the 6 pillars. We have different use cases, and I want to highlight some use cases. Well, let's start with migrations and migrate. So if you have a legacy system, a legacy ECM system, and if you want to migrate the content, the meta information, and the content to a new OpenText or Documentum solution, then Migration Center helps you to migrate these content from your legacy system to the new OpenText or Documentum solution. Migration Center supports both systems, so Documentum as well as OpenText Content Server. So you can use this product to migrate either to Documentum or to OpenText, and we also support some other target systems. So another use case is, of course, consolidation. Consolidation is always an important topic at our customers when they want to reduce the TCOs. So if you have multiple repositories in your company and when you want to consolidate them, then Migration Center helps you to migrate the content from the different repositories to one repositories, and after the migration you are able to shut down the repositories which are not used anymore. So also for this use case, Migration Center can help you to be more successful than without the Migration Center. Other highlights, of course, when you want to introduce an archive, or for example InfoArchive, Migration Center has an out-of-the-box adapter for InfoArchive. That means the Migration Center prepares information for InfoArchive, and everything can be used out of the box. Or for example, when you want to replace a system, for example, when you want to migrate content from a file share to OpenText or Documentum, then this is also a use case where Migration Center helps you. So why Migration Center? On the left side you see a lot of logos that are not all logos, but some. So advantages of the Migration Center are, of course, it's 100% out of the box, so no scripting and no development effort is necessary. And that means you can migrate your content faster than with developing your own tools or script to migrate content. With the Migration Center, we have done more than 350 migration projects, and with more than 12 years experience in the ECM market and in the migration business. We support more than 130 migration passes from different source systems to different target systems. This means it's very powerful, and we support out of the box a lot of systems, and it's very easy to configure the different passes and use them. Other highlights, of course, that the product is certified by different ECM vendors. We have a flexible pricing model, so you can either purchase it or you can lease it if you only want to use it for a specific time frame. With an excellent service, and the Migration Center is also certified by pharma companies. So a lot of pharma companies use Migration Center to migrate content for their ECM systems. So here we have a solution overview on the architecture. As you can see on this slide or on the graphic, we support different source systems and different target systems. These are the migration passes, and you are very flexible to use these passes. So for example, you can migrate from a file share to the ECM platform, so Documentum or to OpenText. You can migrate from SharePoint to OpenText or Documentum, or you can migrate from Lotus Notes to one of these systems. So you're very flexible, and a lot of passes are supported. In addition, I mentioned this, it's certified by OpenText and Documentum, and yeah, it's very flexible. The architecture is based on different levels. So at the bottom we have an Oracle database, which is necessary to store the meta information of the content or of the data you want to migrate and transform. And in the middle and on the top we have the business logic as well as a client which you can use to configure and use the Migration Center and configure your migration from source systems to target systems. So if you are interested in the Migration Center, then please visit our website at www.migrationcenter.com. There you find a lot of information and material about the Product Migration Center, and there we explain all the use cases in detail and why you can save time and money if you want to migrate content from a source system to a target system and to be more successful than without. In addition, we have also a trial version, so if you want to use it for a trial, then this is also possible. So now I want to hand over to Markus, who will explain you how we can help you with cloud services and cloud offerings together with Documentum and OpenText.
Yeah, hello everybody. This is Markus Oponczewski speaking here. I'm with FME and I'm responsible for the cloud business development. And today I would like to talk about how to integrate ECM systems like Documentum or OpenText into cloud native apps. First of all, the agenda for today for the next 15 minutes is expectations management. What is this presentation about and what is it not? Then I would like to have to create a common baseline about cloud computing, because yeah, there are a lot of variances in interpretation of cloud computing and especially cloud platforms and cloud native apps. I would like to explain in short. And the real topic is how to integrate and to bind ECM as a so-called managed service into cloud apps. So this is for today. And first, the expectations is when we talk about the real world today, then just a second, then it is a fact that today new business applications require also new IT architectures. Most of them are cloud-based, of course. You see this in the news in product vendors of ECM systems and other systems provide more and more cloud systems. So another fact is that nearly today no business app can run without integration of already existing systems, neither cloud apps or non-cloud apps. This is the real world scenario where we are living in. About the slides, it's not about shifting existing ECM installations, your existing ECM installations to the cloud. This is possible from sometimes, but this is not the topic for today. It is also not about discussing the companies, the ECM companies' cloud strategies for their products or for their offerings. This is also not part of today, but what is part is it's about connecting your existing ECM installation to cloud applications, and this helps to decouple the sometimes very fast cloud strategies companies are implementing from the relatively stable ongoing ECM business. And so we have two speeds in that scenario. Cloud application development is very fast, the expectations are very high, applications have to be online very quickly, and this is not the case for ECM business. This is stable business for years, and a lot of those systems are very important for the business processes, and it does not always match the two speeds together. And this, what I would like to explain to you, helps to decouple those both strategies. Yes, cloud computing. What is cloud computing? It's also a fact that cloud computing will be the new normal for how to implement applications. Design and implementation of applications will be cloud native in the future, and of course also operations will be affected. All applications in the future, all systems in the future will be yeah, kind of cloud nature. This is for sure. And what does cloud mean, cloud computing mean? It means that you have applications that can scale within seconds when it's necessary, when you have users from hundreds to thousands to 100,000s to millions. The system has the ability to scale with it. It's so-called elasticity. Another feature is that cloud computing has a highly efficient resource management, beginning from the hardware on the bottom of the infrastructure. It is necessary to use the resources highly efficient, And the requirement for cloud applications is also very often that they have to be always up, which means no downtime, zero downtime applications, which means also there is no maintenance window where you can update your applications any longer. This has to be done on other scenarios here. We have the need for continuous updatability of your applications and modifications on the fly, without waiting for a maintenance window where you can update your applications with your modifications. This is no longer the case in cloud-native apps, and we have other requirements to deal with and features such platforms provide. This is the self-healing of applications or the self-healing of the platform. So if there is a defect or something goes wrong with the applications, the platform detects this and is able to restore the system so that it runs again. The basis for all the cloud stuff is that it is highly automated and highly standardized, as well as that's for the platform. That's necessary for the platform, and this is also necessary for the application. This highly automation rate, highly standardized application, this is key for cloud applications. I do not want to cover all the other points here. Of course, it is developer and operator friendly. It has to, because such things are huge installations, fast and agile. It have to be. This is what I meant with the speed of cloud applications. Important for us is that attached resources, which are third-party systems, which are database systems, everything which means persistent, the persistence of data is treated as a service in cloud environments, and this is what I want to talk about today. And yeah, that's what cloud computing in a nutshell means. This is, I think, important to have a common baseline and a common understanding here. On the right, we see some logos here. Red Hat OpenShift, Pivotal Cloud Foundry, and Kubernetes are cloud platforms, very widely used cloud platforms. I would guess, I do not exactly, but all three of them have a market share of about 60 to 70% minimum on so-called private cloud installations. Private cloud installations are on-premise in your company installed cloud platforms here, and this is what I want to talk about, how to connect existing ECM systems like Documentum or OpenText to such platforms. I do not want to cover the infrastructure layer here. This is what there's no time left here for today, but I think that's more than enough to talk about the integration into existing cloud platforms. So on a high level, how can such an integration scenario can be? We see document storage systems, ECM systems like Documentum or OpenText, and we see a cloudy environment. It's not important if this is a public cloud environment or a private cloud environment. The important thing here is the platform itself, and we have those three platforms here. There are some more in the market, but as I mentioned, these three have a lot of market shares here, and they in future act all in the same way when it comes to integrate existing systems. This is called the service broker architecture, and as you can see here, the service broker architecture has the REST services of the product of Documentum or OpenText included in that service broker, and this service broker takes over all the connectivity and communication when the cloud app wants to access the ECM system in the backend. So this is the high-level scenario. This is what we can imagine, and on a more detailed level, this looks like that we have a cloud environment. On the far right, we have this ECM system. Within the cloud application, of course, is running, and the so-called service broker. The service broker architecture is well defined. It has various features. One is that we have a catalog. A catalog is providing various offerings, what your ECM systems offer to the cloud application. I will come to that on the next slide. We have a provision and deprovision mechanism. This is the connection to the ECM system, and we have a bind and unbind. This is where your cloud application can connect directly to that ECM system to fulfill the business activities. And as I mentioned, all the connectivity and communication with the ECM system in the backend is done via that service broker. The advantage here is that you can exchange your cloud platform, and for the three I have here, Cloud Foundry, OpenShift, and Kubernetes, this will be treated in the same way, so we can exchange the cloud platform and the service broker will remain, and also the connectivity to the ECM systems have not to be rewritten. This can be used for all three platforms here. This currently works for Cloud Foundry. For those of you who do not know about Cloud Foundry is an industry standard platform solution used in very big installations and customers worldwide. It's open source, originated from Pivotal and incubated from Pivotal. Pivotal Cloud Foundry is the commercial product here. Some of you may have more to do with SAP. The SAP HANA Cloud Platform is also based on Cloud Foundry, as well as IBM Bluemix or Happy Staccato, Hewlett-Packard Staccato. These are platforms all based on the same technology stack. It's Cloud Foundry. And we have that two other technologies here, Red Hat OpenShift and Google Kubernetes. They are currently implementing this architecture, this service broker architecture, which is originated from Cloud Foundry. And all three, Cloud Foundry, Red Hat, OpenShift, and Google Kubernetes, have started an open source initiative. This is Open Service Broker API .org, and there is information about the status and how the implementation of that service broker architecture is ongoing. And for me, this will be in the new industry standard, how to connect third-party systems or ECM systems or databases to cloud applications. And this will work for OpenText and Documentum systems very well. Use cases, when we talk about catalog and provisioning and binding, this scenario enables different models for the ECM usage. So you can imagine long-time archiving has other needs than simple project repositories, which may only last for a shorter time, and also scenarios for input management are possible. So think of a cloud application that you provide to your users, and the cloud application is able to take some documents from the users, and via this service broker architecture, these documents can be transferred to the ECM system or trigger workflows or whatever. And the whole functionality is covered within the existing REST APIs of those platforms, either Documentum or OpenText. And for us, it's not about implementing the features, but use the existing features from our cloud application. And yeah, what has to be taken into consideration? I mentioned it, existing ECM REST interfaces of OpenText and Documentum can be used, of course. As always, when it comes to integration and connectivity between systems, we have to think about network and security policies. The user management is tricky. Technical users is not that difficult, but when it comes to named users, when you have users that come from the cloud and should have access to their specific environment in the ECM system, an additional authentication service is necessary. This is not a problem, but has to be taken into consideration. And also, it is not the case that every company has the same demand of use cases, the so-called catalog. So the catalog, the technology is always the same, but what you offer in your catalog, what your ECM system offers for various capabilities to cloud applications, this is, of course, individual to the specific company here. And also a very important point, the ECM system then is connected, but that does not mean that it's automatically cloud native. So especially when it comes to elasticity, to scalability of cloud applications, you have to be sure that your ECM system in the backend is capable of handling the requests that come from the cloud platform. It does not scale automatically. This is not the nature of integration of such platforms. This will be then a case for new and more modern cloud applications from the software providers, OpenText, and this has to be taken into consideration. So the system has to be set up so that it can handle all the requests coming from the cloud application. Yeah, that's it. I hope I could bring some more light into that cloudy stuff, foggy stuff, and yeah, feel free to ask questions. Christian, I will hand over back to you.
Yes, thank you, Markus. So the webinar comes nearly to an end, but before the Q&A session, I have two more announcements for you. So OpenText organizes an innovation tour. During the innovation tour, OpenText visit different cities in Europe, and at the 28th of March 2017, OpenText is in Munich, and FME is also in Munich, so we have a booth number 5. So if you're interested in our things we've presented today, then please join us on the 28th of March in Munich at the OpenText Innovation Tour. In addition, OpenText organizes a big event later this year in July, the OpenText Enterprise World 2017, and this will take place in Toronto in Canada. So a very nice city, and you have the chance to look into all the products at this event in July. In addition, I want to thank you, Stephen and John, for joining us today. It was very helpful for us and for the clients that you share this information. And yeah, now we come to the last part of this webinar, the Q&A. So if you have any question, then please enter the questions in the question panel, and now we have time to answer these questions.
Hey Christian, I thought maybe it would be a good way to start, given that we've got Sean, who is obviously from the ECD group or from Documentum, and get him to answer a little bit more detail level, probably a lot of the questions that we're finding coming up in the chat and the questions anyways. And maybe I'll just ask him for you a couple of the questions around some of the products. So, are you ready, Sean? Sean, you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready, Stephen. Go ahead.
There he is. Okay, Sean. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but do you want to get into a little bit more detail around, as a starter, maybe the future for G2 and XCP?
Absolutely. You know, as you mentioned, Stephen, during your presentation, you know, Documentum remains a really important part of our industry solutions. So, you know, as we look forward, we're obviously going to be, you know, maintaining the platform and doing innovation on the platform. But, you know, D2 and WebTop and XCP, these are all important technologies that are part of solutions that we produce or that our partners produce, and we're fully committed to maintaining those and bringing new innovation to them as well. I think in addition, you mentioned that we see Documentum as having a really a great fit in terms of being able to handle higher volume transactional use cases. So again, that's a perfect scenario for Documentum XVT, and so that obviously will have a roadmap commensurate with the importance of that use case as well.
Thanks. Another one that comes up pretty frequently and can come up as well is Captiva.
Yeah, Captiva, obviously, leader in kind of high volume document capture, intelligent recognition. We see this as a really great fit across the entire OpenText portfolio, actually. So, I think we see there's a huge opportunity not only to, continue to make this a part of Documentum solutions that we deliver, but also to look out to the OpenText customer base and the future OpenText opportunities and figure out if there's a great way we can combine Captiva and bring document capture into those implementations. I'll say in addition on the Captiva side, there's some great technology that exists within OpenText around document capture. So technologies like RecoStar, which has been a part of some Captiva solutions in the past, we really look forward to integrating that back into the Captiva platform and being able to combine the technologies to really provide terrific value for our customers.
Thanks, Sean. Another one coming up, sort of a classic question we hear a fair bit is, so what's happening with WebTop?
Yeah, so, WebTop, nothing really changes there. I mean, for long-time Documentum customers, obviously, customers have invested quite a bit in WebTop. On the Enterprise Content Division side, we have two. It remains a part of at least one of our industry solutions in energy and engineering. So, we're going to continue to maintain that user interface as we've committed to do in the past. So, for new opportunities, we certainly recommend that customers look at D2 or at XCP as a newer generation user interface. But for those customers that have WebTop implementations, we're going to continue to support those implementations. And, again, kind of proof of that is that we're delivering solutions or industry solutions that require WebTop today. So we're not planning on end-of-lifing that product before customers are ready to migrate onto some of the newer user interfaces.
Fantastic. Thank you. There's a couple other questions in here that I answered in the chat. I'll just very briefly go over them, and I think maybe somebody sort of maybe chastised me on presentation 101. I should have actually been quite upfront. It's been a focal point for us for the last little while, but maybe not entirely obvious to everyone, is that yes, we did in fact acquire Documentum along with some of the other ECD capabilities around InfoArchive and LEAP just about a week and a half ago. So somebody mentioned in the chat panel that they were surprised to see that maybe, but also wanting to know when we were switching over and transitioning support from Dell to OpenText. So that is obviously also happened with the acquisition, and so that transition has happened. And if there are any further questions on that, we'd be happy to answer that one as well. I think there's a question for Christian around Migration Center in the chat that you might want to address as well. But for the most part, I think we are addressing most of the questions right now.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Then I will take over the question for the Migration Center. So the question is, does the Migration Center only works with Oracle DB? No support for SQL Server available. So at the moment, the migrations only supports the Oracle DB, and the Oracle DB is only used temporarily for the data, for the meta information you want to migrate. That means if you scan a source system, then the meta information of the source system will be migrated to the Oracle DB. Then you're able to transform this information and enrich the information and prepare the information for the target system, and then Migration Center migrates these information to the target system. That means the Oracle DB is only used as part of the migration center, as part of the migration process. We have a database connector. That means migration center is also able to migrate content from different databases, and there we support of course Oracle and SQL Server as well. So I think there's another question for Markus. Which API is going to be exposed over the service broker? Would it be more DFC level API or DUFS level API? Markus, can you answer these questions?
Yeah. Hello, this is Markus. This is Markus again. Yeah, it is the REST API, so I would say REST level, and this is an application packaged in a WAR file provided by Documentum in our case here, and we include this WAR file in the Cloud Native app. This is possible, and with that integration, we have access to all the REST calls, which then are directly connected to or go to the Documentum system in the backend. So the answer is it's a REST level API. And the good thing on that is that it is packaged in an existing WAR file, so every standard Java application can include it.
Okay, thanks. So then we have another question for WebTop. Will the next version of WebTop continue to be depend upon JRE plugin? Sean, can you please answer this question? I think you're the right person for it.
Yeah, no, so I don't have the exact answer for that, that detailed question. I can certainly follow up if we can get the contact information. I mean, I think in general, as I mentioned earlier, nothing's really changed with WebTop. We're going to continue to maintain it. I wouldn't expect a lot of new feature enhancements. There might be some very small ones, but that's not a platform that we're doing a whole lot of innovation around. It's mainly just maintenance and trying to make sure that customers can continue to get that to work within their environment. So we'll make adjustments for system compatibility and system updates and things like that, but probably not a whole lot of new innovative changes.
Okay, thank you. So then we will share more information offline after this webinar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So
If there are,
I'm noticing a couple of relatively detailed questions coming in around WebTop. Again, no surprises necessarily on the detail around roadmap and WebTop and some of the other more detailed questions. We did realize, obviously, that some of the commitments that are necessary to make in a public forum, sometimes around roadmap, is difficult to do. So certainly from a call to action perspective, when we share the webinar, you will have in there a link to a customer hotline where you can talk directly to support or talk directly to get your account executive to visit and have a discussion about your requirements and in particular be able to have a more detailed discussion as necessary around roadmap too. So just wanted to make sure that people are aware that it is possible to go in and use that customer hotline on opentext.com. Lots of information found around that as well from both the webinars and information that we're sharing currently. Any more questions being teed up, Christian?
no, I think there are no further questions. If there is a question which we haven't answered during the Q&A session, we will try to answer them offline with you. So then we come to an end of this webinar. So I want to say thank you. Thank you for the participants who joined the webinar. I hope you enjoyed this webinar and the information were very useful for you. And I want to thank you again to Stephen and Sean, who present a lot of details around the acquisition and about the strategy and future of Documentum products at OpenText. If you have any further questions, then you can send us an email. On this slide you see our contact details, and then we will answer it, of course. And yeah, thank you again, and have a nice day, and hopefully we will see us either in Munich or in Toronto in July. So thank you.